Hello, hello, hello everybody, and welcome back to Paragon Bootcamp 2021. I hope you're all having a great time, and welcome to the people who have just joined us. Coming up now, we have our missile lecture with Admiral and Cash. Now, the missile lecture is here to cover everything you need to know about things that fly through the air and are not magical. So, without further ado, she is hailing from right here in the Nine Blades. She is a Paragon Archer and Paragon Anti-Paladin. She is also the autocrat of this event. Please give it up for Admiral and Cash.
Hi folks! Welcome back to Paragon Bootcamp. This is the missile class, and as Woundra just said, I am Admiral and Cash. Most folks just call me Admiral. At any point during this class, if you have any questions, please tag me in chat. It'll just be easier for me to find those questions, as chat does tend to chat. Okay, so we are going to go over all manner of missile. Primarily bow, of course, as that is my specialty as a Paragon Archer. But we will be covering some of the other types as well. I am a Paragon Anti-Paladin, so we will be going over Javelins, of course. But we will cover some things of throwies and boulders and things of that nature. So we're gonna just start in, if everyone can see and hear me okay. Also, if you're there, send up your favorite emoji. What is your favorite emoji? Let me see what you got. I'm hoping for the squiggly arms. Rooting for squigglies. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so right off the bat, form's going to be extremely important, especially for bow users. I will preface this first. Stretching. Stretching is very, very important. That's going to impact your form. That's going to impact your safety while being in formation. So consider the muscle types that are going to be engaged when you are doing something like throwing or shooting. So for bow is going to be the most intensive, of course, and it will have the most stress and higher risk of injury, I'm going to say, specifically with muscles and tendons, pulling, tearing muscles, things like that. So consider that one arm is going to be outstretched, right? If you hold anything out with your arm just outstretched for any period of time, you're going to start to feel it. You're going to start feeling that burn. You can feel the muscles that are engaging, right? All of this is getting engaged. So you're going to want to stretch all of that. When you are pulling the string, right? Going back, my hat's gigantic. I don't usually shoot with my hat. Right? You're going to be feeling it in your fingers. You're going to feel it in your wrist. You're going to feel it here. You're going to feel it here. You're going to feel it here. And here. And here. Right? So you want to stretch out all of those things. Some stretches that you can do, right? Real basic. Roll the shoulders back, roll them forward, right? I don't have much room on this couch, right? Go with larger circles as well. Go with smaller circles. You want to go both directions. Then you want to do side stretches, right? Want to get all of that nice and stretched out there. And you're going to do on both sides. Remove the hat. Right, over the head. Right, getting all of that in there. And the other side. Right. Stretch your core. Oh, it feels so good. Right. You can do Criss Crosses. There's one that I do where you need either a buddy or a wall of some sort. So you can do this like this. Just hold it out and do a rotation. That's gonna help all of this in here. You're gonna feel it all the way down in here. Again, right? If you can have somebody hold for you. Again, you're going to feel it right in here. You're even going to feel it here. But even as you're stretching, you can start feeling where those movements are going to be. You can feel how tight it is. If it's tight, then you have a good potential of doing some damage when you're shooting. So you never want to shoot without stretching. Never, never, never. There isn't a reason to risk injury. Especially, imagine, if you will, this time that we're in currently, not being able to play. When you are able to play, getting injured and not being able to play because you didn't bother to stretch before you shot for 3 hours straight. There's no reason to risk that. So it's going to be very, very important to be as safe as possible. And remember to hydrate. For those that have seen my Admiral to Academia classes, remember to hydrate along. We'll be doing that periodically throughout this class. So those are now more gross motor stretches, but also consider your fine motor stretches, right? That's going to be your fingers, right? You want to stretch your wrists, circular motions in and out. Feeling flexing. This is actually doing me a great deal of good because I'm about to shoot. I'm going to shoot this apartment because I'm a crazy person. And it is raining outside, and for those that know me, I have fibromyalgia. So I can really feel it when it rains. Okay, so let's get into form. After you have stretched, once you feel loose and you are good, the form that you shoot in is also going to be pretty pivotal to your safety and your health, which is another class that I'll be doing tonight. So we'll start with bow form. Oddly enough, if you know what dabbing is, I know it's silly that this works, but finding your initial position, and you're there. Silly, isn't it? But it works. You dab, and then you rotate up. The most important thing, right? Nice and flat. Your arm is extended. Usually the arm that you're holding your bow with is not your dominant hand. Your dominant hand is usually the one plucking the string. So that's going to be the arm that's out. The arm that is out, it's going to be important that this is not popping out. If this is, you'll get something called a bow bite. What that is the bowstring will slap on your inner elbow. You'll get a massive, about 4-inch bruise, and it hurts like heck. So, things to avoid that. Make sure that you're in position. You're going to want to roll that elbow out, right? Make sure that string has a nice flat area as it is shooting. The other thing you can do is wear an arm guard like this. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at Bass Pro Shops, hunting stores, online. There's a million places. But you're just getting your basic standard arm guard. I personally like the longer ones myself. I like ones that hit up the top section some and can end up being kind of small and only for like this area. So I like to have them up here. I do tend to not end up having to wear them due to my armor set when I'm playing Archer. I have a whole leather full body armor kit, and it has a padded armor like gambeson with a leather covering that covers my whole arm, and because of that it is its own arm guard and the whole entire thing. But also I would like to think that I also practice safe shooting, so I'm not popping out my elbow, so I'm not really dealing with that that bow bite anyways. But you never know. You never know when there's going to be a random situation where you take a weird turn, something's happening in an instant, and you get out of form. It just takes that one time and it'll get you. So it's going to be very important just to just use caution. There's never a reason to not be cautious. Okay, moving on. When you have the bow in hand, you're not going to grip it really hard. You're not going to have it too loose either, right? Nice, steady. Make sure you can wiggle those fingers, right? You have the pivot point, which is going to rest nicely here on your hand, right? A lot of times, Olympic shooters, you'll notice that when they shoot, it'll kind of pivot. It'll kind of fall forward after they shoot. That's why, because it's not a death grip on there. It's nice and loose, nice and gentle. Now, I will say that there are other bows that have different risers and different types of shelves or no shelves at all. And I do have some examples, so I will be going over that in the gear section. So just for now, we're going to be talking about a standard bow with a shelf on the riser. So you do end up shooting off of the shelf, not your hand. Okay, so that is your one arm. Straight across, shoulder nice and level, making sure, right, keeping that elbow in. That's one hand. What are you doing with the other one? This is going to be the arm that you're going to draw your string with. Now, some folks have different amounts of fingers, different positionings that they like on the bowstring. I personally have 1 up, 2 down. I just find that it's easier to pull the string if I have more fingers on it. I find that it's a bit more balanced. I have more control, and it just has a better feel. And again, it is easier for me to pull back if I do have that additional third on there. So when you are pulling back, again, you want to keep your chest nice and flat. When you're pulling, right, you want that to be nice and even. You want your shoulder to be down. You don't want to be popping up. You don't want to be under. This is extremely important. This is where you're going to end up getting all sorts of issues with pulls and tears if this position is incorrect, right? This is where it's going to happen. Right? Some people are going to do this. They're going to wrench their neck, their shoulder, the back of their shoulder, their rotator cuff, all of that nonsense. You don't want that. Okay. Okay. The other thing is your anchor. Your anchor can be in a different place depending on your preference, but an anchor is important. It will help steady your shot. It will help with the strength to hold on. It'll help with your accuracy, your control, and the sheer weight of just how much pressure there is on that string. The anchor, for me, is right here. And I use this bit of my thumb right here. So when I shoot, it's here. And that's going to help me steady my arm. It's going to steady the bowstring. You can hear my cat Trey meowing in the background. Hi, buddy. Come on. Oh, Paragon Bootcamp V without Trey coming for a visit. Come on, buddy. Also, I will say I have a little bit of a different drawing style than most. I do more of a Zen shooting posture. So instead of going from down up, I go up down. What this does is it puts me in a nice relaxed position. It auto forces me to lower my shoulders. It's a far more calm position. It can also help with bows that have strong pulls. because again, when you're doing that Zen type of shooting, you're usually having a bow that is extraordinarily large and has a great deal of poundage. So they actually it can help them getting that full extension. So do this with an arrow in there. It's just gonna be about this way. And I took my glove off, so I'm gonna put my glove back on. Doop, doop, doop. Sorry about that. So, shooting glove. Shooting glove is a glove that is just the 3 fingers. A lot of times those 3 fingers will have reinforced pads. As you can see, a little bit difference there. When you're dealing with a string, it can be very rough on the fingers. So this just really helps with that. It helps with loosening the arrow. It's a better release. You're not going to get caught in anything. So again, right, I go from the top down. It's a little hard to see with my garb. Can't really see my shoulder too well. But again, I'm going right to that anchor. Arm is actually in position, you just can't see it. Right. Going up, down. Okay. And again, right, going over that finger position, 1 up, 2 down is my preference. Some people do just the 2. There's all types of ways to do it, but again, it's personal preference. So again, I'm going to just preface this. The things that I'm teaching in this class are things that, methods that work personally well for me, things that I've found to be useful in my play style. This might not be the best method for you, but it may be. So I would say experiment, try things, find what is best for you. If this method works for you, awesome. But know that this is not the only way to do it. This is a way to do it. Okay, so and do the crazy taking a shot in my apartment. Okay, so important things to note. When you are releasing, don't just open your hand. You want to have a pluck. It should be a nice, like a harp, right? You're just gonna let it pluck right off the string. For me, again, I have a very particular type of shoot style where I not only am I going top down, but when I release, I let go straight back instead of just the let go release at anchor. Again, for me, this is a release of tension. It is a very smooth positioning for me. It's just a very comfortable, relaxed position. When in the midst of battle, it can be very tense, can be very stressful, and when you are tense and stressed, you tend to tense up, and being tense when you're shooting is, again, that's when you're going to get into trouble with the potential of injury. So we are going to do this shot. Oh gosh, that's a terrible idea. Okay. It didn't make any sort of damage, so I mean, good, solid, making progress from last year. When I shoot, I also use a knock stopper. If you can see that, that's a little metal bead on your bowstring. What this does is actually it helps with your accuracy and your consistency. If you are constantly shooting where your knock is going to end up with a different angle, you're not going to end up developing the muscle memory that you need. Your consistency and accuracy is going to be all over the place. Accuracy is muscle memory plus consistency and a familiarity with your gear and distances. So It can also help with blind knocking. Blind knocking is when you do not look when you knock, right? For me, I have a, how do I explain this? Call it an X-wing pattern. You'll notice that there are 4 fletchings, or veins. There we go. Which means that no matter which side I put this arrow on, it's always going to be on a correct side. If you have only 3 fletchings, one of the sides will be incorrect. If you put it on the incorrect side, you will rip off the vein. Veins are the little flyy bits at the end here. Feathers are called fletchings. The rubber ones we tend to call veins. So basically, you want to make sure that this is always in the correct position. This will also affect your accuracy. Right. So it goes underneath. When you're doing a blind knock, you can put it underneath and just pop up. So again, you pop it anywhere underneath the string and pop up, and that's always going to be in the same position. Nice and straight. It doesn't matter how far underneath you get it, as long as you pop it, you get in the same spot. So that is blind knocking. Blind knocking, you're not going to look at all. Boom, you're already in. Sorry, getting a little cut on my rug. So again, we'll take another shot. Remember to keep the arm out. Your chest nice and flat and straight. Nothing going out. Shoulders, nice, relaxed down. Nice, relaxed in your next area. Full extension, nice, relaxed. Again, I do a top down. You do not need to do a top down. If you would like to do a top down, it is my personal preference, because again, it's taking yourself into a relaxed position. If you're going bottom up, you can end up getting more tight and tense as you go up. It also means that you have to come back down once you do an up position to get yourself back in. So again, I'm going to say that it can be a better position to go top down for, again, ease on that pull, and also for putting yourself in a more relaxed position, and honestly quicker, because you don't have to do a readjust down. So again, here we go. Okay. Doop doop doop. Again, if anyone has any questions as we're going, please feel free to type and chat here if you have any questions at all, and please remember to tag me. Okay. Doop doop doop. Quickly just go over sort of the anatomy of stuff. This is a recurve takedown bow. Recurve means that the limbs here, which these are limbs, they curve out this way instead of curving back the other way, right? A super stereotypical bow, old school things, you'll see more of this position, but it goes in the reverse, making it a recurve. Takedowns mean that the bow can be taken apart, taken down. The cool thing with this also means that if anything ever happens to a limb, you're not going to throw out the whole bow. You just replace the limb, right? Because usually you'll have a good solid riser, which is this bit here. And again, right, this has a shelf right here. That's where the arrow rest is. But also, I mean, if you ding this up, if you really do something terrible, you still have limbs, right? You just replace this bit. So the other advantage to this is travel. Throwing this in a suitcase is going to be a lot easier. Throwing this in the back seat, your trunk, is going to be a lot easier than having a full-size solid bow. Now, I do have some other bow examples. You can see here, right? This here was my first recurve. As you can see, it is one solid piece. This thing to travel is basically like dealing with a polearm in your vehicle. Beautiful, beautiful weapon, but it is gigantic. Very, very big. So it is hard to travel with. But again, recurve is what a solid shaft looks like. And then you also have bows that do not have a shelf. This is an English longbow. Again, so big I can't get the javelin shot. This is very much like a polearm when traveling because it's a gigantic stick. So that can be very hard to travel with. The other thing is that you are going to be shooting off your hand, not the shelf. So it is very important, again, for safety, that you are shooting with a glove. You want to have a glove on your other hand because you're going to have it shooting off. If you don't, you can end up cutting up your hand. The wear and tear is not fun. Not fun at all. So it's going to be important that you can balance on there, right? Something that'll help is using a guide finger, right? But super, super important that you are moving that finger when you shoot, right? Either off to the side or down before you take that shot, or else like you don't want to clamp it here, and you don't want it to be in shot, or again, right? You're gonna hit it. You're either gonna cut up your finger or rip your veins off. Otherwise, right, you're going to affect the flight of the arrow. Safety is everything with archery for the operator and the positioning that they're using, but also for the individual that they are targeting. If an archer does not have control over their shot, the placement, the form, and the angles and all of that, if they are releasing it in a way that is going to make it do some strange motion in the air, then the archer is actively endangering the target. Archery is a privilege in this game. There's a lot of LARPs that do not allow them, so it is onto us to be safe with them, or else we do have the potential of losing them one day. So that's on us. Shoot safe. Remember that these are your friends you're shooting at, and we want to make sure that everyone's gonna be, they're gonna be a-okay. Okay, so moving on. There's obviously not just your standard typical bows. We also have crossbows in this game. Look at that crossbow. You're gonna have a very different experience with this, and there's going to be pros and there's going to be cons to using such a weapon. They can be a lot longer to load, depending on the size of it, right? If you've got like a super mini one like this, right? If you've got the hand strength, you might be able to just one-hand it. Otherwise, right, you can use your chest as helping you to anchor. But if you have a larger one, you might have to have it on the ground with a foot and pull it upwards like this to get it locked in, because it might be just way too heavy for you to be able to pull that off. It can be a lot longer to load. That's very much a thing. But once you have it, it's very simple to operate. Gonna say use safe trigger stuff. You want to make sure that you are you're not going to accidentally shoot somebody when you are not ready to shoot them. If you have your finger where the trigger is, you load it and you just start doing this, there's going to be a point where you're going to flinch, you're going to make a quick move, and you're going to pull on that, right? So actually, just like an actual gun, you're going to use safe trigger procedure, and you are going to have your finger off of that trigger. You're not going to have it resting on top. Now this bow is actually way too long of where this is. I have a very, very tiny hand, so I have to actually move forward and not hold this portion, but again, this is a very small, very light bow, so that's not really an issue. Again, you're just going to do standard. It's a very simple operation. You pull the trigger, and boof. That was not knocked. I just got this one, so this is finicky. Super finicky. Not my bread and butter, personally. I don't particularly like crossbows. I like to feel a lot more control when I'm shooting. I like to have a quicker load time. I like to have a situation where it is just all around easier. There it is. All around just easier to take those shots, make quick decisions, especially for archer where you're using specialty arrows. Having quick change-ups, dropping your specialty arrow off your bow quickly if all of a sudden a different opponent becomes a threat issue, a different scenario pops up where you might have just normal arrow up and then a monk comes in and is all of a sudden now the linchpin. You got to pop that arrow off quick. You have to either loose it or pop and switch and get that face arrow up. But basically it's just a lot quicker if you are very familiar with your arrows. You have everything just more tactile control and flow and stuff like that. So again, my personal preference is with a standard bow. Right. Also, like you saw, those things can misfire. They could just not come off the string. That's harder to do with a bow. There tends to be just a bit more control when you have it nicely knocked in there. You can feel it, and when you're making that release, it's just, I don't know, I'm gonna say just a little bit easier on me. Okay, moving right along. Quickly, I'll just go over just like a couple other range types. So obviously, those are bows. Javelins. Javelins are also a thing. This is a very big one, but you can have much shorter ones. When I'm fighting, I do actually prefer my smaller one. It has very good balance. I like to have it on the middle balance, so it's really nice in my hand. This one is more used for long range and also to double as a spearhead, right? There's different ways to do it. There's personal preferences. It's gonna depend on your fighting style, your what main gear set you're going with, right? If your main is a polearm, like it is for me, using what is essentially another polearm it can just be in your way, essentially, right? If you're doing more of a sword and board sort of thing, you can kind of do a down stick in your shield hand and then use this as like a down spear of sorts, right? There's different options you can go with javelins. But also, if you have a bunch of javelins, one thing that you can do is at the very beginning, chuck them in a whole bunch of directions that you're looking for. Look at different ranges going out, and then you go up with your main set. That means that they're scattered everywhere that you might interact with them. So once you're going randomly, you can just pick it up and chuck it, move to the next thing, pick it up and chuck it, right? Instead of having, 6 giant ones like this on your body, on your person, or trying to carry them all, you're gonna have a bad time. I actually have 6 of these, and using a 8-foot crushing breaking polearm also, and with the small punch shield in my other hand, having 6 of these is very unwieldy and not manageable when I'm coming right out the gate. So I'll have all of them, and I will just chuck them on the field. So I'm scattering, and I'm getting a bunch of things for future use. Throwies, right? All sorts of different materials, shapes, and sizes. A teacup, right? Chakrams. There's different ways that you can go about it depending on your personal style. It's also depending also on how you want to throw them, right? Getting back into that form thing. A chakram, right? You're gonna throw like a frisbee. If you don't throw frisbees very well, these might not be the ones for you, right? If you are a baseball player, and you're particularly good at throwing, small round ball things, that's the type of throw that might work best for you. It's again going to be super, super dependent on your preferences, your play style, and what feels good for you. So it's just experiment, try things, try different shapes, different sizes, obviously dependent on your class, right? Because there's going to be certain classes that can only use certain sizes, or none at all, right? As an archer, I don't get to use these really nifty throwing weapons. I just got my arrows, but they're enough for me. Moving right along. Other type of projectiles, boulders. Right? Again, there's all sorts of different materials, shapes, and sizes. One thing to note, though, a random tip for boulders, if you have something that is more stiff, something that you cannot hold with a single arm, that can impact how you're throwing. I've seen some folks where they've got like this like big old plushy thing, but they can't get a good grip on it. Like it doesn't have like a furry type of thing. It's like really, or it's like reinforced, or I've seen like things that are like barrels. Those all I've never seen them be able to one hand them. So if you're doing like barbarian or doing like sword and board, being able to hold and throw a boulder with a single hand is gonna be particularly useful to you. So right, something like this, very easy to grab, very easy to chuck. But yeah, if I've got to have 2 hands on a thing, that means that I can't use any other weapon when I'm doing it. So just sort of keep that in mind. Other than that, there's some cool stuff you can do with rolling boulders. If you have yourself a perfectly round boulder and you can roll it to the other team, that thing is good until it stops. Right? If you have something like this, right, it's done. You're not going to be rolling it like a bowling thing down the lane. That's not going to do anything for you. So again, personal preferences, depending on your play style, your gear setup, what is going to be working best for you. But there are all sorts of things that you can play with. Okay. Other thing, just again, remembering for form, essentially, one thing you want to avoid is hyperextension in any position. If you like, right, throw out your arm You can pull, tear things, right? If you are doing some weird thing, right, rotator cuff injuries is a big thing you see for like baseball players, right? So if you're gonna be like pitching a throwy, you want to be careful of that whole area there, because you really do not want an injury like that. You don't want an injury where you're gonna end up with surgery. That's just no bueno. Okay, you just super try to avoid it as much as possible. Again, something that's going to help is stretching, but also it's going to be understanding your body mechanics and safe physical positions to throw. And that goes literally for any type of shape, any type of weapon that you're dealing with. If it hurts when you throw it, you're doing something wrong. You are in a bad position. You're not stretched out. You gotta figure out what's going wrong in the form. You can also, I'm gonna straight up say, YouTube can be extremely helpful. Look at the pros. Watch videos that specifically go over different body mechanic positions. Other than that, ask a friend, use a mirror, get an idea of what's going wrong. Sometimes if you're just throwing or you're just shooting, you can't really see what's happening. Sometimes you'll just feel something is off, but you don't really have an eye on where it is. Having somebody watch you, or again, right, if you can use a mirror, if you are unable to have a partner there, that can just sort of help just to make sure that you're not missing something yourself in those positions. I find it very helpful, especially for an amp guard, to be able to work with a student where they can hold it and I just be like, okay, shoulder receiver, this, okay, right. I can see exactly, and I can see from all angles, right? Because it might look fine here, but they might be doing something weird here. It's just gonna be easier if you can actually visually see around a student to help them out. So consider that. If something doesn't feel right, something might not look right. Okay. Again, if anyone has any questions at any point during this class, please feel free to tag me in the chat. Otherwise, we will just keep trucking along. Just gonna make a quick time check. Make sure we are doing okay. All right. Good. Accuracy. We're gonna go over some things on that. Especially for bow. Eye dominance. Knowing eye dominance is gonna be very important for this. One way that you can do this is making a diamond with your hands. Put it on a fixed point and slowly pull it back. It will most often than not end up on the eye that you are dominant in. Just focus not on your hands, you focus on that item. Once you know which one is your dominant eye, that is going to be the eye that you are going to look at the target with. That's where your focus eye is going to be. You can usually tell when somebody doesn't know their dominant eye, or if they're not using their dominant eye, because they will usually be about a foot off from their target, either right or left, depending on their situation. But it's usually about a foot off. Again, right, with how eyes work. If you close one eye and then the other, that item no longer looks like it's in the same place. So it will absolutely affect your shot. If you are using the wrong eye, it will absolutely affect your shot. There is this weird thing that they show in movies where they shut one eye and will... Do not do that. That is not a thing. What you actually do when you shut one eye is you lose your depth perception. That's not going to help your shot. Now, you can do a quick test where you, right, you're not really sure if you're actually on it, right? You can do a quick spot check, but don't actually keep your eyes shut when you're shooting. You don't want to lose your depth perception. You do not want to do that. Okay. The other thing I want to go over is instinctual shooting. Your body has an auto-targeting mechanism. If you are actively aiming, you shut that off, essentially. If somebody throws a ball to you, you end up just catching it, right? It ends up, your body knows where it is. It's not going to go, if I throw it like this, I have to calculate the distance, the effect of the water that's going to be in there, how long it's going to take to drop, how the position of my hand. You're overthinking it. You're going to give yourself, your mind, way too many things to try to calculate, and it's going to miss. If you overthink it, you will miss. So one thing you can do to help with instinctual shooting is to do a drill where you start with your back to the target. You can use like a tree or something of that nature if you have some random thing in your backyard that you can use as a target. That works as well. But essentially, you start with your back to it, maybe go about 30 feet out, and you are going to spin and shoot. You are going to loose the instant that your dominant eye hits the object you are attempting to hit. You can't just do and let go. It's literally boom, in an instant. Just like that. You do not give yourself time to overthink it, right? Now I can't really do it properly because I'm just gonna hit all the cameras, so I'm gonna just start with it here. But I'll show sort of the speed of which this happens. Right? As soon as it hits, you're letting go. Your eye hits that target, you let go, let the arrow hit the target as well. Now, a way that you can do this is once you hit the target, you spin back around. If you hit it, take a step forward, right? Farther away from the object, and do it again. Spin, shoot. If you hit, take another step farther away from the target. Reset, spin and shoot. If you hit it, again, go farther. If you don't hit it, stay in the same spot until you hit it. Once you've done so, you can go collect all of your arrows, and you can do it again as many times as you like. But it's just one particular drill that you can do. I find that it helps very much if you do this before battle games, because it'll get you into that groove. It'll get your mind prepped, your body, your muscle memory, and stuff like that. Getting yourself just fully prepared for using instinctual shooting in a battle game scenario. Okay. Doop doop doop. We're getting a little tighter on time, so I'm just gonna keep plugging away. Yeah, we got about half an hour. Okay, so let's go over some strategy stuff. Again, right, depending on what you're using, the strategy is going to be super, super different. Depending on the class that you're using, it's going to be super, super different. Archer is going to have a lot more things that they can do due to their specialty arrows. If you're playing assassin with a bow, that's going to be a different type of situation because you're all going to have standard arrows. You're not going to have any specialty arrows. But there's still things that are going to be the same. So we're going to go over a whole bunch of those options. Okay. And a lot of these are going to branch over all things, particularly this first one. Do not shoot at a target. Do not throw your missile. Do not engage with a target that is staring you down. These things are all big and clunky and slow. It is extremely easy, even these, to dodge if you're staring at it. You know when it's coming. You know when that release is happening. It's very, very, very easy to dodge or to block. Especially since the shield trick is allowed. Now, this is going to be a big thing, particularly for specialty arrows, because it can shoot down your attempts to get your specialties off on a player. Now, for those that don't know, the shield drop trick is essentially when a boardman lets go of their shield and lets it free drop. Just whoop. Where they're letting go as the projectile is hitting the shield. Thus, it is considered, I believe the term is terrain, and no longer your shield, so it's not a part of you. So something like this super useful engulfing stop mechanic here does nothing when that person lets go. It's not on them anymore. That means that they're not gonna get pinned. This is a very bad situation for an archer. But also, I mean, for boardmen, right? Learn this trick. This is gonna save you for spell balls as well. Don't like being a popsicle all the time. Shield drop. That's magic, so we're not gonna go into that. You want to be careful of folks that have punch shields. These are going to be the most likely to use the shield drop trick. You're not really going to see it with a boardman that has a strap, because they're not going to be able to just quick release it. You might end up in a situation where they've got their strap shield, but they've disengaged it and now are holding it like punch, in preparation, waiting for you to loose this one, and then they'll do it. But it's a very obvious position. It's a very clear that they're going to make this. But yeah, like it, and especially, right, again, don't look at them, or don't shoot when they're looking at you, right? Still be like, right, and just ready to drop it. Now, you can also do a pump fake, which could end up getting them to drop it and all of a sudden leave themselves completely open, in them trying to anticipate and get ready for that drop that they drop too soon. So if you pretend that you are going to loose or let go of your arrow, right? Right? You just, right? Where you're not ever actually letting go. They can get very twitchy, and they could end up letting go, and all of a sudden you've got a million miles of real estate to work with. So shield drop you want to avoid. Try not to hit things with my gigantic bow. Okay. Ways that you can remember to hydrate. Things that you can do to help. I should need this now. This is the feeling of regret. Things that you can do to help get them to stop looking at you is to make it seem like you are you're no longer going to shoot them. This can be, this is battlefield psychology. You're going and you're making it look like look frustrated. You just go, right? Or they just, right, go off just a foot, right? Just go, oh, okay, I'm going for this guy, right? Going for this guy. Break eye contact, look at somebody else, use your peripheral. See that they're not looking, go back that 1 foot and pop them. Psych them out, make them think however way you're gonna do it, that you are no longer going to go for that shot on them, that you've figured, oh no, there's no way that I can do it now, I guess I'll just find someone. I gotcha, right? It works remarkably well. Okay, moving on. Survivability. If you're playing something like an archer, you are what is referred to as a glass cannon. It's a whole lot of awesome offensive distance shots, especially for specialty arrows, right? You're doing some pretty neat stuff there, but you are very open and vulnerable. Right, for archer, you can only have 2 points of armor. A lot of the other bow classes are in the same situation, where I believe like only one of them can get maybe like 3 points max, but primarily most, like even if you're doing something like druid where you know, you can use magic armor, right, you're not gonna have a ton of points, right? Going up against a warrior, you're gonna be sticky paste. So it's going to be important that you leverage the armor that you have. Something that you will notice, 2 points of armor even is really, really good, because folks assume that you're not wearing a lot on you. A lot of folks will think that you either don't have something on or that you've got just 1 point, and will do a run by, where they will run past you, hit you once, and keep running. Who knows why people have the assumptions that they have. If you see somebody wearing leather, probably not assume that that's just 1 point. Right? If they're wearing chainmail, figure that's not 1 point, right? That's sort of a common sense thing, but in the heat of a moment, yeah, somebody's just gonna just do a run by. So it's something also I personally find that a lot of times when you're fighting some like really good fighters, particularly ones that are heavy into tournament fighting, they will, especially like Flo, they're gonna hit you on the outsides, the arms, right? That's a thing. So you can leverage other parts of your body. You can mend if you have that ability with your class. You can present different parts, right? Block with other things. If they are only targeting one area, right, then you can get that back if you can survive the encounter. If you're dealing with blocking with other ranged things, right, figure that, you know, your arms are going to get taken up by melee fighters. Leverage your chest and leverage your legs. There's one particular block I like to do with my shin, actually. If I see a projectile coming that I know that I can't get out of the way of, I will lift up my leg and I'll just take it to my shin. It's right. It's gonna most likely right. It's gonna take off all the armor in that location, but the leg's still gonna be there, right? If you're getting hit with an arrow, that's not gonna go through the leg if you've got that armor on. Right, so kind of just use the sectional armor to your benefit. Use those as sort of mini shields. You can also, speaking of mini shields, if you have like a dagger that you can keep, that you keep on like a waist belt or something like that, quick side tangent, you can have like elastic band belts that you keep these in, really quick and easy to get out of. But you can do what is referred to, I believe, as a punch block, right? You block with the dagger, right, and go about your day. You've now used this as sort of a one-time use shield, and you're alive and your armor's still there. You can use other things. If you're a bow user, make sure that your bow is not in the way. Make sure that is not getting hit, because if you're not playing archer and you don't have that mend, right, depending on your class, of course, then you've lost your main form of interaction. So do not lose your bow at any cost. Additionally, be super careful with melee fighters, especially because they can break your bow. And I'm gonna tell you, they can break your bow out of game too. These things are spring-loaded weapons. If you pop the string off, oh gosh, that is gonna just pop right off. It's gonna just do a very dramatic, very uncomfortable, painful, and possibly damaging thing to your bow. So don't try to block with your bow. Make sure that you are in a good, safe position, that the bow is not going to then become something that is going to be dangerous to you. My first concussion that I can remember happened when I was fighting another archer, and he didn't let go of his bow after it had been broken. And in the duel, because we were going single shorts at that point, both of our bows had been broken. I dropped mine, he's held on to his, and in the interaction, the bottom of his bow got struck, and the top, and it was a recurve too, hit me right in the temple. I don't remember what happened from there. I was told that I just very quietly and calmly walked back to base and just 100-yard stare and just nothing. I don't remember it. So don't end up in a situation like that. Concussions are not fun. They're very bad. So please understand that these are wooden and, at times metal parts, spring-loaded, super scary things at times. So treat them with respect, treat them with safe methods, and make sure that you know what you're doing when you're operating them, for the safety of yourself and for the safety of all of those playing with you. Okay. Other things about survivability for pretty much anyone that's dealing with ranged things. Understand that unlike a sword or a shield, your weapon is leaving your hand, and there's going to be a moment where you are weaponless. Even if you have another thing, another object, another arrow, another a secondary weapon you can pull out, there's going to be a moment where you have nothing. Understand the importance of getting something back in that hand as quickly as possible, but understand also if you are a primary with something like a bow, where you have limited ammunition, right? If you're doing assassin, where you are going primary, like pepper attacks, right? Where you basically have like a bag full of throwies, and that's your main form of attack, right? Understand that you have a limited amount, and once they're gone, you have to go and recover them, or have a secondary weapon that you are ready to be able to fight with. Even in that moment when you let go of that weapon, you're gonna end up having a situation where folks are gonna try to take advantage of that. For a bow user, right? It's once you loose that arrow, you let go, they will charge you down. They will just gun it, and they will run at you as quick as they can and try to drum roll you in the face, right? They're waiting for you to let go. So one tip, don't let go. A lot of folks just think that they just need to be constantly loosing. Again, battlefield psychology is a really fascinating thing that not enough folks use, in my opinion. Something that I find extremely helpful. So when you have somebody that is just waiting, right? They're in a position that you know exactly what they're doing. Sometimes they will literally say it. They'll go, "Oh, wait till they let go of it. No, just wait. Just get ready. They're telegraphing it so bad. It's just very super crazy obvious. They're not trying to hide it. They know you're gonna let go, and they know that they're gonna run you down, and that you're not gonna be able to stop them quick enough. Even if you manage to have a very quick release weapon, you're gonna have that single thing. You're not gonna have a shield on you or something like that. You're gonna end up being in a vulnerable situation, especially, right? You got a 6-point plate warrior. You're gonna be sticky paste once you let go of that. So what you do is you hold it. You just keep them in this suspended moment of, will you, won't you? And you just hold. So there's some physical techniques that you can do so that you're not gonna blow your arm while you're attempting this maneuver. Yes, you're right. You can hold it as long as you can, right? Right, just get it loose, just have them on edge. Use that stutter, right? Use that, like, whoa, right? Oh, I'm gonna be threatening. Make it just like, so that they don't know when you're gonna do it, right? If you have something up like a pinning arrow, right? Especially, they're not gonna want to run at that. That's going to be the one that they know that they're going to end up getting stopped if they aren't able to dodge. So the other thing to consider, if you are playing Archer, you can use this nifty thing called reload. What you do in that case is use a regular arrow, and you do the reload spell as you are threatening this individual. Right, you are I'm gonna say practice it, learn how to speed cast it. Get that off a really quick thing, so that you can pop out of game and be in that state and not affected, if you can do that. Otherwise, right, especially if you have a bunch of folks, you can hold off several individuals with this, especially if you've got that pinning, goodness gracious. No one wants to be the one that's going to get hit with it. even if it's not a specialty arrow, even if it's, you know, not anything in particular, it's still an uncomfortable hit to get hit with an arrow. So it's unpleasant enough that you don't want to be the one that's going to run in and take that shot, especially if you're running into it. Oof. So they're going to wait to the buddy next to them is going to be the one to take it. They're going to go, no, you run at them. No, I'm going to wait till this guy sacrifices himself, right? Using the pawn method. Just having them expect someone else is going to take the shot means that they aren't going to try to be the one to go at you. So use that to your advantage. Okay, some other things. Positioning and teamwork. If you have terrain, use that as a shield. Use that to protect yourself from oncoming range attacks. Use it to, if you can full body, like, hide behind said piece of terrain, maybe a very large tree, you can protect yourself from casters if you can be completely covered. You can run around it to avoid melee. There's things you can do with terrain. They can be a really good asset to you. Also for folks that are doing something like, you know, assassin, where they're trying to be more stealthy, right? You pop behind a tree for a bit, they forget where you are, they forget that you're there, and all of a sudden you pop out and you pop them. So there's different ways that you can use that strategically to your advantage. Know what pairings go well with your class. Having somebody like a boardman to protect you, especially if you have little or no armor. Oh goodness, especially if you have no armor. Having an armored buddy, a melee person, having somebody that has a shield that can take care of any range attacks that are coming at you. Also, I forgot one thing for leveraging your armor. If you are getting into a duel with another ranged individual, you can just take the shot. Don't let them bully you out of your position, your form, right? If you're you're planning to shoot them, if you let them psych you out, and you're just trying to dodge, they have effectively taken you out of the game. You're not shooting them, but you're also not shooting any of their teammates. You being too afraid to take that shot means that you're no longer engaging. If you call their bluff and you just take it to your armor, you stay in that position, you keep on going, right? Make them be affected by you. Don't let them affect what you're doing. So use your armor in that way. Don't get bullied out, right? Again, battlefield psychology. In addition to understanding pairings of teammates and things like that, it's really, really important that you understand your role in the team. If you are just focusing on killing folks, that doesn't necessarily mean that your team's going to win. You have to play to the game objective. I'm running out of time. Here for the bow. So the big thing is that you should always be playing to the game objective. Now, what you're doing to that game objective or your interaction with it will be different depending on what your role on the team is. Your role might be to protect another player, right? If you have your linchpin that is directly interacting with the game objective, you can be protecting them from afar by keeping folks off of them. That may not mean killing them. That might be legging them and leaving them. That might mean, if you're playing Archer, pinning them, keeping them in place. If you're dealing with, casters that are trying to cast on your linchpin, right? You're suppressing them, doing things like that, or even just lowering the amount of armor they have, or removing their shields, just to help get those just to make it easier on your melee fighters when they're getting in there. And right, it's going to be much easier for them if you take out their shield and all of their armor before your melee guy goes and fights that individual. Okay, again, I am super running out of time. If you have folks any quick questions, please throw those in there as I go over these last couple of quick things. Any last minute questions? This is the time as we are wrapping up. Again, if you could just tag me, that's just gonna be a lot easier for me. Quiver Style. So primarily, there's two main types of quivers. You've got your hip quiver, which is what this is, and you have a back quiver, which is this. It's going to absolutely be your personal preference, what is good for your type of play. If you are dealing with if you have any neck issues, anything like that, you're not going to want a back quiver, right? Because that's going to be sitting on there. If you have hip issues, right, leg stuff, the hip quiver might not be best for you. If you are very, very into running, if you are just a constant move type of shooter, the hip quiver might not be best for you. If you are somebody that tends to be more stationary, stays at the back, right, the hip quiver might actually be pretty good for you. The big thing I'd say is being able to quickly and easily identify your specialty arrows if you're playing archer, and also being able to physically get your arrows out quickly and effectively. If this position is easier for you, or this position is easier for you, again, that's going to be personal preference. One quick thing I will note about hip quivers, because some folks have issues with them flipping on them or getting tangled in their legs as they're running. The trick to this is using a ballast. You put a weight at the bottom. That will help keep the bag down, right? Because you can't put the heads in reverse, because you also won't be able to see them. They'll fit really awkward. And because you have to have them top up, the weight distribution can be really funky. So having a counterweight at the bottom can help keep that more stable and upright. What you can do to help control the bag as you're running is having your short sword in your quiver. I'll use this one. It's actually a short sword. Basically, as you're going, you can use it as a joystick, and you can control where the bag is, right? You push it more out this way, and your arrows are going to be able to get tucked nice behind you, right? You keep it down as you're running, so you're not getting tripped up in your legs, but you can control the bag entirely with just using the joystick method. So that's always what I use. Also, it's right, your secondary weapon's right there. It's quick and easy to pull out. So that's my personal preference. I use that. Best store and worst store to buy bows. Oh goodness. That's a good question. I would say the best stores to buy them is something like a hunting store. A lot of times they'll go through a lot of stuff with you. they'll go over the type of shooting that you like to do, the type of poundage, having a size that's proportional to you, right? Having like a different riser size and things like that. You're not going to get that type of experience if you go to, let's say, a Walmart, right? If you're getting something that's like a cheap end thing, or if you're getting something online where you're not able to see it ahead of time, physically feel it, try it out, or interact with a human being to ask questions and to get advice from folks that are specifically trained in those types of things, then yeah, it's probably not going to be the best option for you. But yes, there are specifically bow stores, there's specifically hunting stores that can help you with that process. Right, that's how I got this one. This is from Cabela's. This is specifically a hunting store that I got this one. So, okay. So I think that's all the questions I got. So sorry, I've got to cut this short. I will say I'm teaching again later tonight, so if you do have any other questions, send those to me. I will be able to see them. Might be able to say a quick thing at the next class. Other than that, you can contact me on Facebook or Discord. If you do have any questions, if something comes up later, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them for you. I just wanted to thank you all again for coming to the class. Thank you to everyone that watches this video in the future. Again, I have been Admiral Ann Cash, and thank you for attending.
Thank you, Admiral. I hope everyone enjoyed that amazing lecture on everything that flies through the air that is not magical, including archery and a bunch of other really cool things. I know I had a great time. That said, we are moving into our fourth class of the day, coming up at 7:30, which is in about 7 minutes from now. That is Eastern Standard Time. We are going to be talking teamwork with upperclassman Jeet. So please stand by while we get him set up. In the meantime, head over to the Nine Blades Facebook group. There you can check out our silent auction. There are a bunch of really, really cool items there, and all money raised goes to supporting AmpGuard within the Nine Blades. We will be right back. See you in a few moments.